devotees. Welcome to Krishna Kathamritam program. Thank you all for joining. Today, we are starting the Krishna Kathamritam program basically because it's a pre-celebration for Janmashtami. As you all know, Janmashtami is just 3 days away now. It's on Friday. And this program is to build the mood and the devotion for us to celebrate the Janmashtami with the right attitude and right consciousness. Today, we have 3 wonderful devotees who will be presenting Lord Krishna's pastimes. First, we have Kesavapani Prabhu presenting the pastime. And this is Kesavapani Prabhu's first time presentation in Krishna Kathamritam. Hare Krishna, Kesavapani Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Over to you.
Okay. Hare Krishna, devotees. Let's start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanandatimirandasya Jnananjanashanakaya Chakshur Unmitam Yena Tasmai Shree Guruve Namaha Shree Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadakhitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanta Stite Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamtiriyet Ashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhakti Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikim Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Anantiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Krishna Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namaha Kararavindena Padarvindam Mukaravindena Vinimeshayantam Vatasya Patrasya Deshayanam Balam Kundam Manasasmarani Kauraki Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Kripam Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarvascha Krupasindubhya Imacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As part of the Krishna Kathamritham, I would like to pay my humble obeisances to Sri Guru Pranga and Srila Prabhupada. A special thank you to Jai Supatra Mataji, Satyara Prabhuji, and Veena Mataji. Thank you. If I do any mistakes, please forgive me. So I'm going to start about the transcendental pastime of Krishna from the 10th canto, chapter 13 and 14. But before going into the detail, I'm going to talk briefly about the chapter 12 because there is a connection here. So in the chapter 12, the killing of the demon Aghasura. So one day, Krishna wanted to enjoy a picnic lunch within the forest, and therefore he went out early morning to forest with other cowherd boys, accompanied by their respective group of cows and calves. When they were enjoying their picnic, Aghasura, the younger brother of Putra and Aghasura, appeared there, desiring to kill Krishna and his companions. The demon assumed the form of a huge python, expanding himself to a length of 8 miles and the height of a big mountain, his mouth seeming to extend from the surface of the earth to the heavenly planets. We assumed this feature. Aghasura lay on the road, waiting for Krishna, thinking that as soon as Krishna entered, he would close his mouth so that everyone would die. The cowherd boys thought that the demon's form was one of the beautiful spots of Vrindavana. Thus, they entered within the mouth of this huge python. In the meantime, Krishna was thinking of how to save the boys and to kill Aghasura. He entered the mouth of the gigantic Asura, and when he was within the demon's mouth, along with his friends, Krishna expanded his body to such an extent that the Asura suffocated and died. This Leela, this pastime, after this, Krishna, by casting his nectarian glance upon his friends, brought them back to life, and with pleasure they all came out unhurt. When this pastime was performed, Krishna was only 5 years old. 1 year later, when he was 6 years old, this pastime was disclosed to the inhabitants of Raja. At that time, Parikshit Maharaja, the entire conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaja inquired Sukadeva Goswami that why is it that this pastime was disclosed only after 1 year, and yet the inhabitants of Praja thought that had been performed that very day. With this question, this 12th chapter ends. So coming to the chapter 13, where the stealing of the boys and calves by Brahma. After saving the boys and calves from the mouth of Aghasura, Lord Krishna brought them all to a river bank and spoke the following words. I think we should all take our lunch here, since we are all already hungry because the time is very late. Here the cows may drink water and go slowly here and there and eat the tender grass. So, accepting Krishna's proposal, the cowherd boys allowed the cows to drink water from the river and then tied them to trees where there were green and tender grasses available. Then the boys opened their baskets of food and began eating with Krishna in great transcendental pleasure. The cows, being allured by green grasses, gradually went very far away, and therefore Krishna's associates became a little agitated and wanted to bring back the cows. But Krishna, however, encouraged the boys by saying, you take your tiffin without being agitated. I shall go find the cows. And thus the Lord departed. Then, just to examine the potency of Krishna, Lord Brahma took away all the calves and cowherd boys and keep them in a secluded place. When Krishna was unable to find the calves and boys, he could understand that this was a trick performed by Brahma. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, in order to please Lord Brahma as well as his own associates and their mothers, expanded himself to become the calves and boys exactly as they were before. By this Vasudeva feature, Krishna simultaneously expand as the similar number of the missing cowherd boys and calves. With their exactly bodily features, age, form, and characteristics. By expanding himself in this way, beautiful Krishna proved the statement Samagra Jagat Vishnumayam. Lord Vishnu is all pervading. A special feature of this pastime was that the mothers of the cowherd boy thus became more attached to their respective sons during this past 1 year, and the cows became more attached to their calves. In this way, Lord Sri Krishna, having himself becoming the cowherd boys and group of cows, make himself by himself actually. Thus, he continued his pastimes both in Vrindavan and in forest for 1 entire year. After nearly a year later, Baldeva, observing that all the cowherd boys and cows were expansions of Krishna. Thus he inquired from Krishna and was informed of what had happened in the past. When Lord Brahma returned after a moment of time passed and saw that a similar number of boys and cows have been playing with Krishna for 1 whole year, yet they are different from the ones illusioned by his own mystic potency. Who are they? Where did they come from? He was like confused. Thus, Lord Brahma, thinking for a long time, trying to distinguish between those two sets of boys who were each separately existing. He tried to understand who was real and who was not real, but he couldn't understand at all. Then Krishna exhibited all the cows and cowherd boys as four-armed forms of Narayana. Brahma could then understand Krishna's potency, and he was astonished by the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna, however, bestowed his causeless mercy upon Brahma and released him from illusion. Then Lord Brahma saw the absolute truth, who is one without a second, who possesses full knowledge and who is unlimited, assuming the role of a child in a family of cowherd men and standing all alone, just as before with a morsel of food in his hand, searching everywhere for the cows and his cowherd friends. After seeing this, Lord Brahma hastily got down from his swan carrier, fell down like a golden rod, and touched the lotus feet of Lord Krishna with the tips of the four crowns on his heads. Offering his obeisances, he bathed the feet of Krishna with the tears of joy. Then, raising very gradually and wiping his eyes, Lord Brahma looked at Mukunda. Lord Brahma, his head bent low, his mind concentrated and his body trembling, very humbly began with flattering words, began to offer prayers to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus ends the chapter 13. Brahma prays to Lord Krishna. Lord, Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up the path and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. His only gain is trouble. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering your respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. And not just see my uncivilized impudence. To test your power, I tried to extend my illusionary potency to cover you, the unlimited and primal supersoul, who bewilder even the masters of illusion. What am I compared to you? I'm just like a small spark in the presence of a great fire. Therefore, O infallible Lord, kindly excuse my offenses. I take I have taken birth in the mode of the passion, and I am therefore simply foolish, presuming myself a controller independent of your worship. My eyes are blinded by the darkness of ignorance, which causes me to think of myself as the unborn creator of the universe. But please consider that I am your servant and therefore worthy of your compassion. O Lord Adhokshaja, does a mother takes offense when the child within her womb kicks with his legs? And is there anything in existence, whether designated by various philosophers as real or as unreal, that is outside your abdomen? My dear Lord, in this incarnation, you have proved that you are the supreme controller of Maya. Though you are now within this universe, the whole universe creation is within your transcendental body. A fact you demonstrated by exhibiting the universe within your abdomen before your mother, Yashoda. Have you not shown me today that both you yourself and everything within this creation are manifestations of your inconceivable potency? First you appeared alone, and then you manifested yourself as all Vrindavana calves and cowherd boys, your friends. Next you appeared as an equal number of four-handed Vishnu forms, who were worshipped by all living beings, including me, and after that you appeared as the equal number of complete universes. Finally, you have now returned to your unlimited form as the supreme absolute truth, one without a second. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. Thus, for creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself as Vishnu, and for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Shiva. O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds, but who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of how your spiritual energy acts. Therefore, this entire universe, which like a dream is by nature unreal, nevertheless appears real, and thus it covers one's consciousness and assails one with repeated miseries. This universe appears real because it is manifested by the potency of illusion emanating from you, whose unlimited transcendental forms are full of eternal happiness and knowledge. You are the one super soul, the primeval supreme personality, the absolute truth, self manifested, endless and beginningless. You are eternal and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival, and free from all material designations. You, your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. Those who have received the clear vision of knowledge from the sun-like spiritual master can see you in this way as the very soul of all souls, the super soul of everyone's own self. Thus, understanding your original personality, they are able to cross over the ocean of illusionary material existence. My dear Lord, I therefore pray to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma or in another life, wherever I take my birth, I may be counted as one of your devotees. I pray that wherever I may be, even among the animal species, I can engage in devotional service to your lotus feet. My greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth, whatever, in this forest of Gokula, and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents. Their entire life and soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukunda, the dust of those whose lotus feet is still being searched for in Vedic mantras. My dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desires remain themselves, their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remain foot shackles. My dear Master, although um, you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. My dear Krishna, I now humbly request permission to live. Actually, you are the knower and seer of all things. Indeed, you are the Lord of all the universes, and yet I offer this one universe unto you. My dear Sri Krishna, you bestow happiness upon the lotus like Vrishni dynasty and expand the great oceans consisting of the earth, the demigods, the Brahmanas, and the cows. You dispel the dense darkness of irreligion and oppose the demons who have appeared on this earth. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, as long as this universe exists and as long as the sun shines, I will offer my obeisances on you. The Sukadeva Goswami said, having thus offered his prayers, Brahma circumambulated his worshipable Lord, the unlimited personality of Godhead, 3 times, and then bowed down at his lotus feet. The appointed creator of the universe then returned to his own residence. After granting his son Brahma permission to leave, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the calves who were still there where they had been a year earlier and brought them to the river bank where he had been taking his meal and where his cowherd boyfriends remained just as before. O King, although the boys had passed an entire year apart from the Lord of their very lives, they had been covered by Lord Krishna's illusionary potency and thus considered that year merely half a moment. The cowherd boy said to Lord Krishna, "You have returned so quickly. We have not eaten even one morsel in your absence. Please come here and take your meal without distraction." Then Lord Hrishikesha smiled, finished his lunch in the company of his cowherd friends while they were returning from the forest to their homes in Braja. Lord Krishna showed the cowherd boys the skin of the dead serpent Aghasura. As the cowherd boys reached the village of Braja, they sang, "Today Krishna saved us by killing a great serpent." Some of the boys described Krishna as the son of Yashoda and others as the son of Nanda Maharaja. Any person who hears or chants these pastimes Lord Murari performed with his cowherd boys, the killing of Aghasura, the taking of lunch on the forest grass, the Lord's manifestation of transcendental forms, and the wonderful prayers offered by Lord Brahma, is sure to achieve all his spiritual desires. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. That was very nice. You nicely covered 3 pastimes, starting Aghasura, then stealing of the cows and the calves by Brahma, and beautifully you narrated the prayers of Brahma and glorified the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Prabhu. You very nicely just summarized the pastimes and enhanced the key points, and it's great for us to hear that in the Krishna Kathamritam. Thank you very much, Prabhu. With that, thank you. Next, we have Sridevi Mataji. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'll just share my screen, Mataji.
Sure.
Can you able to see it?
Yes, Mataji, we can see.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Satyasara Prabhu, Jai Shubhadra Mataji and Veena Mataji for giving me this opportunity. We'll start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are going to see the pastime of killing of Kesi Demon and Vyomasura. So means Vrindavan, so many demons were sent by Kamsa each and every day, right from when Putana was killed, Krishna was just 6 days old. And Kesi is the last demon sent by Kamsa. And after then, the same afternoon, Aghasura is means coming from Mathura to take Krishna and Balaram. So this pastime is happening it is the last moments of Vrindavan. Kesi is coming in the morning and Vyomasura is coming in the evening. So we'll see this pastime and the representation of these demons. So Kesi is such a powerful demon. And he has taken this form of a horse. We know about horse, right? Like a horse is so fast. He is even now we'll for checking the engine power, we'll measure it with horsepower. So the horse, it is coming at the speed of the mind, and this is the last demon sent by Kamsa. So he's coming with so vigorously to come and kill Krishna. And his mane is so huge, like his mane is touching the clouds, and it is just disturbing the demigods' airplanes throughout the sky. And he's terrifying everyone in Vrindavan and the whole world with his neighing. And the horse demon challenges Krishna to a fight. So just like a toy, means just Krishna plays with a toy, Krishna is playing with this Kesi demon. Kesi is coming at a furious speed. Just Krishna holds both his front legs and threw him 100 bows length. He just threw it away like Garuda, how Garuda just throw a snake. Like that, Krishna is throwing Kesi's, he's taking his legs and he's just throwing him away. And Kesi momentarily passes out, and then after then he again regains consciousness, and then means he is rushing towards Krishna again, and now this time with mouth very wide open. And we should be knowing that how means if you want to control a horse, we have to control with its mouth. That's why they just cover it with like a summer rope or something. They'll means in the games you can see that we can just control the horse with that rope. It is means just tied along with the mouth of that horse. Similarly, now Krishna definitely knows how to control a horse. So he's just putting his fist into the Kesi's mouth. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says oh, Krishna's arm is so tender and cooling like a blue lotus. But for Kesi, it is so very hot. It's like a iron, very hot iron. And means as soon as he means put his fist on Kesi's mouth, all his teeth fell out. And then Krishna starts putting his hand, it just starts expanding it, and that way Kesi's throat is got suffocated, and he was just wanted to get some air circulation, but he could not get that, and that is the end of his life. Kesi demon is he covered with sweat, and his eyes rolled around, and the demon then passed through and fell on the ground. So, the mighty arm Krishna withdrew his arm from Kesi's body. Just just like playing with a toy, he just take his hand from Kesi's mouth, and seeing this wonderful sport, everybody from demigods, they are throwing flowers, and the Lord accepted the demigods' worship without even having any pride. Killing a demon is just like a sport for Krishna. And we can see that Vrindavan just like a one road path. If a devotee enters into Vrindavana, they will anyway stay with Krishna, because Krishna is so sweet and pleasing. They'll stay with Krishna. If any demon enters into Vrindavan, they'll be killed by Krishna and they'll be liberated. And nobody goes from Vrindavan, like nobody goes back to any places. So they just stays in Vrindavan. So it's like a one-way route. From all these demons, so many demons are coming, means each and every day comes ascending. So what are the lessons that we have to learn from all these demons? That is very important for us. Like for example, Putana, she is like a false guru. And Shakatasura, it's like a full of bad habits, the cart full of bad habits. Krishna just kicked that bad habits. Like that means each and every demon is a representation of something, and they are the obstacles within our own self to the path of our pure devotional service. So now we'll see little bit about what does the Kesi demon represent. So means here we need to understand very clearly, like it is very subtle. So Kesi represents the feeling or thought that I am a great devotee, I'm a great guru, maybe a Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, I'm a great guru. So like means with the association of devotees will come into the path of devotional service. Means after entering into that, it will be like so excited, will be so enthusiastically doing so many services. And after some time, when we are getting expert in with some of the services, we'll start getting that feeling, oh, I'm a very great devotee, I can able to do this very nicely. So that feeling is actually Kesi demon. We need to definitely get rid of that. So first principle of Vaishnava is like we are the servant of the servant of the servants. And means very clearly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us to be humble like a blade of grass and to be tolerant as a tree. In Siksashtakam prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells this, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarurapi Sohishuna Amanina Manadina. So we have to be as tolerant as a tree. And means the duty of Vaishnava is only to appreciate others' devotional services, not getting pride with our own. When we start thinking like, oh, I'm better than you, I can do this cooking very nicely. If we start thinking that, so it actually expands. Oh, my guru is better than yours. My temple is so good, better than yours, and my mission, everything is better than yours. So this thinking is all devouring Kesi. So only when we start appreciating others, oh, they are doing so good job. They are very good devotees. Only that feeling will actually make us humble. The humble means how we have to get humble is start appreciating others' capacities, others' accomplishments, how they are getting it into, how they are becoming a pure Vaishnava. So that will actually make us a pure Vaishnava. And this Kesi tendency is will be in manifested or in unmanifested form in all of us. Means it will be there after a while. Means we might get that tendency of making ourselves like getting into that pride moment. But means we have to definitely get rid of that. How again we have to get rid of that? Only by surrendering onto Krishna. How these people like all the Vrajavasis, whoever demons comes, they just don't have anybody else, and they don't even know that Krishna is God. They just surrender onto themselves. Like for whatever demons comes, they just think, okay, Krishna is there to protect us. Krishna is our only shelter. So that means that how Brajavasis took shelter of Krishna, we also have to take shelter of Krishna in all such dangerous situations. Please get rid of that Kesi thought from me. So we have to get shelter of Krishna for removing all these unnecessary tendencies that comes into our heart. Kesi tendency. And means we can see like how Krishna has got that name Keshava. Keshava has two different meanings. One, Kesava, who has beautiful long hair. He is Keshava, and Keshava is also a slayer of the Kesi demon. So in Bhagavad Gita, means Arjuna means addresses Krishna as Keshava in various lokas. So this loka is like in 18th chapter, he tells like Sanyashya Mahabaho Tattvam Yichami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Pratak Keshini Sudana. So Arjuna is asking some doubts in that. So he has some doubts. So he's addressing Krishna as like, oh, killer of the Kesi demon, please remove my doubts. So all the demons are again compared with the doubts. So if we have the doubts, it will be killed only by Krishna. So he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Kesini Sudana. Kesi was the most formidable demon and was killed by the Lord. So now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. So like that, in various places, Krishna was addressed as Kesava in Bhagavad Gita, and also in various other scriptures also. So the Kesi demon comes in the morning. Sometimes Kamsa sends so many demons, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, like that. So the same day, the other demon also comes, Vyomasura. So what happened is, like in Govardhan Hill, these kids are all playing. They actually now playing a hiding and seeking game. Like some kids, it's a very nice game within the kids. Some kids will become sheep, and some are like shepherds who will take care of that sheep, and some are like thieves, and some are like police constables who will catch the thieves. Like that, all the kids are playing. So now this demon, he's like a very good magician. So yogic magician, has lot of yogic powers. He can change any form. He can fly. He is a very, very powerful person. So now he's taking a form of a beautiful cowherd boy, and he comes with Krishna's cowherd boys to play that game. He's acting like a thief. So the whoever boys, they are acting like sheep. The thieves are have to capture those thieves. So now he is acting like he's taking a role of a thief, and he is capturing all these sheep boys and putting them into a boulder, into in the I mean in one of the cave in Govardhan Hill. So gradually, like he's abducting more and more cowherd boys. Means every boys were missing, and after a while, Krishna was checking like why there are no cowherd boys are here. And then he could actually able to understand there is one cowherd boy actually acting like a thief, but he is actually a asura. So then Krishna just forcefully grabs, like he's like a lion grabbing a wolf. Krishna just forcefully sees that demon, and he was like when he was about to take some more cowherd boys, just Krishna holds that Vyomasura, and then demon changed into his original form. He's like a very great mountain, but means within Krishna's grip, he could not able to do anything. He just lost all his strength, and he is dead now. So Lord Achyuta clutched Vyomasura between his arms and threw him into the ground. And then, means actually in that cave, he just closes the cave also with a big boulder, so that the kids inside the cave is like so much but suffocating for the air. And now Krishna just took away that means boulder, cracking that, blocking that cave's entrance, and he just led the trapped cowherd boys to safety. And this Vyomasura Gufa is still there in Govardhan Hill. This pastime actually happened in Govardhan Hill. And in Kamyavana, this Vyomasura cave is there. It's called as Gufa. And so many devotees, they go there and chant, do kirtans. So we can, when we go to Govardhan Hill Parikrama, we can definitely go and visit Vyomasura Gufa. So what is the representation of Vyomasura? He just comes as a cowherd boy, very beautiful cowherd boy, but actually he's a thief. So here it represents like how we fall into the trap of Maya through unfavorable association. So what happens is this kind of unfavorable association, it will distract our pure devotional service. There is not like we means in Kali Yuga we will not get asuras like big means horns or big teeth like that. They'll be like one among us. Means they'll be our best friends, but we'll be happy to be with them. But having means keep on continuing the association with them, and if they don't have any faith in the supreme or in absolute truth, then those ideas will actually be an impediment in our faith as well. Hence, we have to be very carefully choose our association. That's what this pastime actually means, teaches us. And not only unfavorable association, even within ourselves we'll have a lot of attachments due to our false ego. We'll have lot of attachments to our wealth. Oh, I have got so many houses, so many cars, and for our knowledge, I'm a PhD, I'm a research graduate, I can do this, so many programs within a day like that for our knowledge and to our accomplishments. I have become this within this age, like that, so many accomplishments we have, and we'll get to attach with all these things. So even while doing devotional services, if we start getting that feeling, like if it feeds our ego, then that is Vyomasura, it says. So means what we have to do is like only association to the great souls that actually opens the door to liberation. Means if we want to go back to Godhead, we have to get associate with those great souls. So it is said like Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktas Tamodvaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. So one can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. So these two pastimes happening in Vrindavan. This is the last demon killing pastimes happening in Vrindavan, and then Aghasura comes to take Krishna and Balaram. And please forgive me if there are any mistakes. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity again.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was very beautiful presentation of the killing of the demon, Kesi Demon and Vyomasura. And Mataji, I really liked the representations of these demons and how they hinder in our devotional service. And it's very important for us to be very humble and not have pride. So that was a very beautiful realizations you shared. Thank you very much, Mataji, for the fantastic presentation. Next, I'm next, we have Samanvita presenting the pastime. Hare Krishna, Samanvita.
I will present about the killing of the Aghasura demon. Once the Lord Krishna desired to go to early in the morning with all his cowherd boyfriends to the forest. He blew a buffalo horn and called all of his friends together. Keeping the calves before them, they started for the forest. While passing through the forest, one boy stole another boy's lunch package and passed it to a third. And when the boy whose lunch package was stolen came to know of it, he tried to take it back. But one threw it to another boy. The boys behind Krishna tried to catch up and be the first to touch him. One would say, I will go there and touch Krishna. And another would say, oh, you can't go. I will touch Krishna first. While the birds were flying in the sky, the boys ran after the birds' shadows along the ground and tried to follow their exact courses. Some of the boys played with the frogs in the bank of Yamuna, and when, out of fear, the frogs jumped in the water, the boys immediately dove in after them. One may search for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the pages of the Vedas and the Upanishads. But if one is fortunate enough to associate with the devotee, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. After accumulating pious activities in many previous lives, the cowherd boys were seeing Krishna face to face and playing with him as friends. When Lord Krishna was enjoying his childhood pastimes, one Aghasura demon appeared before the boys, intending to kill them all. Aghasura happened to be the younger brother of Putana and Bakasura, and he thought Krishna has killed my brother and sister. Now I shall kill him, along with all his friends and calves. The demon, in the shape of a big, fat serpent, extended his lips from land to sky. His jaws appeared like a big mountain cave, and his teeth appeared just like mountain summits. The fire of his eyes was blazing. The boys began to talk among themselves. This figure appears to be a great animal, and he's sitting in such a posture just to swallow us all. Just see. Is it not a big snake that has widened its knot to eat all of us? If we all at one time entered into the mouth of the great serpent, how could it possibly swallow all of us? And it could not swallow Krishna. Krishna will immediately kill him, as he did Aghasura. All the boys looked at the beautiful lotus-like face of Krishna, and they began to clap and smile. And so they marched forward and entered the mouth of the gigantic serpent. But Krishna did not enter. The demon was thinking, everybody has entered except Krishna, who has killed my brothers and sisters. Krishna then began to consider how the demon should be killed and how he could save the boys and calves. Finally, he also entered the mouth of the demon. When Krishna entered, all the demigods who had gathered to see the fun and who were hiding within the clouds began to express their feelings with the words, "Alas, alas." At the same time, all the friends of Aghasura, especially Kamsa, who were all accustomed to eating flesh and blood, began to express their jubilation. And while the demon was trying to smash Krishna and his companions, Krishna immediately began to expand himself within the throat of the demon. Although he had a gigantic body, the demon was choked by the expanding of Krishna. His big eyes moved violently, and he quickly suffocated. His life air could not come out from any source, and it immediately burst out of a hole in the upper part of its skull. After the demon dropped dead, Krishna, with his transcendental glance alone, brought back all the cowherd boys and calves to consciousness and came with them out of the mouth of the demon. The demon spirit soul came out like a dazzling light. That glittering, effulgent light immediately merged into the body of Krishna. Within the vision of all of the demigods and all the devotees of the Lord began to chant the words, Jaya, Jaya. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now I will show the lessons we can learn from the pastime of Aghasura. Lessons we can learn. Who can estimate the transcendental fortune of the residents of Vrindavan? They were personally seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, he whom many yogis cannot find, even after undergoing severe austerity, although he is sitting within their hearts. The denizens of heaven used to drink nectar to become immortal, but actually they were not confident of their immortality. On the other hand, the boys who were playing with Krishna had no fear of the demons. They were free of fear, Any material arrangement for protecting oneself from death is always ensured. But if one is in Krishna consciousness, then immortality is confidently assured. The cowherd boys had complete faith in Krishna. As they said, Krishna will immediately kill him, as he did for Aghasura. The same way, we should have faith in Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Samanvita. That was a very beautiful presentation. You showed the whole pastime, how it happened, with beautiful pictures, so we could totally visualize it and see. It was very nice, and you nicely narrated the pastime and the lesson that we should not have any fear if we are associated with the Lord and have complete faith in the Lord. But if we look at the material, and then it's always going to be unsure if we are with the material arrangement. So very nicely you presented, Samanita. I know this was last minute change in the plan, and you accommodated the schedule. That is very nice of you. Thank you, Samanvita, and thank you, Satyarapa Prabhu and Rasmai Mataji, for supporting Samanvita. With that, devotees, thank you all for joining the Krishna Kathamritam. Tomorrow is the last day of Krishna Kathamritam program. It will be 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining today.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank
you, Prabhu.
saying, Hare Krishna. Samanita saying Krishna's uncle is Kamsa. He is always sending toys in the morning, afternoon, evening. Sometimes snake toys, sometimes bird toys and all. So Krishna played. She is comparing demons with the toys, and Krishna played it joyfully.
Beautiful realization. Yeah, so Vanita, that is true. That's how Krishna played with the toys. Demons, right? Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for sharing.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Vinodji, I'll end.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare.